So, what if one day death just stopped? I mean, think about it. We spend practically our whole lives trying to extend our time, right? We fight off aging, we dodge danger. But imagine waking up tomorrow to a world where the ultimate limit on our existence has just been completely erased. No warnings, no explanation.
People still age. They definitely still feel pain, but absolutely no one dies. Not from freak accidents, not from the worst diseases imaginable, not even from time itself. It's this reality where the final curtain just never falls, no matter what happens to your physical body. Now, at first glance, this sounds like the ultimate dream, doesn't it? A totally utopian world where that agonizing fear of losing our loved ones is just gone. Poof. There were no scientific explanations, no warning signs, just a sudden global pause on death. You'd think we would instantly celebrate this as humanity's greatest victory.
But let's look at how it actually starts. It begins pretty quietly on the very first day. Picture a horrific car crash. A vehicle going full speed slams into a solid wall. The impact is absolutely brutal, and first responders show up expecting the absolute worst. But the driver survives. They've got broken bones, severe, catastrophic injuries, but they're breathing. They are alive. And the ER doctors are just utterly confused.
A few hours pass, and it's not just accidents anymore. In those exact same hospitals, patients with fatal, terminal illnesses who were quite literally moments away from passing, they just don't. That flatline, it never comes. Across the globe, more and more of these cases pop up, and slowly, this chilling realization washes over us. Death has actually left the building.
At first, yeah, people are throwing global celebrations. No more funerals. Hospitals become these beacons of infinite hope. But then, reality shifts. Because sure, the patients never die, but they don't magically heal either. They don't fully recover. They are just suspended in their trauma, enduring this endless suffering without any release.
Really think about the dark side of immortality here. Accidents are still going to happen. Earthquakes still bring down buildings. Fires still break out. But now, there's zero escape from the aftermath. Imagine someone trapped under rubble for days or even weeks, fully conscious. Or someone severely burned, feeling absolutely everything, but biologically unable to pass away. Pain basically becomes a permanent state of existence. And this triggers a deeply terrifying shift in our perspective. People actually start to fear life itself. You know, we spend our whole lives viewing death as the ultimate villain, but in this new reality, we realize that death was actually the only true release from torment. It was the one boundary that kept suffering from being infinite.
And then this builds into a massive societal collapse. Time marches on, new lives are born every single minute, but no one ever leaves. By month 6, resources are shrinking rapidly. Food is incredibly scarce. By year 5, governments are in an absolute panic because cities are just bursting at the seams. And by the time we hit a decade, total, absolute failure of our natural systems. The crucial takeaway here is that our world was simply never designed to sustain infinite human life. Earth has a strict carrying capacity, this really delicate balance of birth and death. When you just delete half of that equation, humanity literally becomes too heavy for the planet to carry. Nature just completely collapses under the weight of endless consumption.
And what about crime? Without death, how does a society even govern itself when the ultimate consequence is just gone? In the old world, the highest penalty for a severe crime might be execution. But in this new world, it becomes eternal imprisonment, a literal sentence with no end. Because that primal fear of death disappears, violence absolutely skyrockets, and our laws just lose all their meaning.
Section 6, the horror of aging, a prison without end. Now, the most intensely personal horror happens on a micro level, because remember, while death has stopped, time and aging definitely have not.
This biological nightmare unfolds in cruel stages. First, bodies keep growing older, cells still degrade. Then, physical strength decays, people become weaker, much frailer. And then, you hit the ultimate tragedy. Consciousness remains completely locked inside these fragile, failing frames, with absolutely no way out.
Aging effectively transforms into an inescapable prison. When existence just stretches out forever while the body deteriorates, eternal life goes from being this celebrated miracle to a crushing, exhausting burden. Life without an end isn't freedom, it's a trap.
And predictably, this leads to a massive psychological break. It's not just our bodies failing us, the human mind changes too. Motivation completely vanishes. Dreams and ambitions just fade away. Because when time is endless, goals lose all their meaning. Humans eventually just become empty, entirely emotionless.
It begs a really terrifying question. Why rush when forever exists? Urgency is a byproduct of mortality. We strive, we build, we love precisely because we know our time is limited. People become hollow not because they want to, but because the psychological weight of carrying life forever is simply way too much for the human brain to process.
This explainer brings us to a pretty profound philosophical realization. Is death actually a curse? Or is it a hidden vital blessing? The total absence of death suddenly shows us exactly what it was providing all along: closure, relief, and structure.
Without the hard stop of death, life completely loses its urgency. It loses its meaning. It's precisely the limitation of our time, the very fact that our days are numbered, that gives every single moment, every connection, and every achievement its absolute value.
So, after exploring this descent into an immortal nightmare, after seeing the collapse of society, the permanence of physical pain, and the absolute psychological void of infinity, ask yourself, if you had the power, would you actually remove death from the world? Or would you keep it exactly as it is?
If this explainer made you reconsider your own mortality, make sure to subscribe to Alternate Itihas, because here we don't just imagine better worlds, we explore the terrifying what-ifs that challenge our reality and could ultimately break us. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.